What is up, Packers fans? Welcome back to the Daily Draft. I am your host and the publisher of Pack Report, Ross Uglem. Today is brought to you, as always, by Badger State Brewing. Today, we are going to break down one of the Packers' undrafted free agents. Andy and I do coordinate. I know sometimes it might feel like we don't, but Andy and I do coordinate. He does an awesome job. And one of my favorite things, and frankly, one of his favorite things that he does every year are these prospect deep dives. I would do them, right? If the daily draft were independent and not a part of the Pack a Day podcast YouTube channel, certainly I would go deep into every prospect that the Packers drafted. And we do that in a way. And I think at least to some degree, that's going to return where, Pack Report is one of the like 3 or 4 team sites left on the 24/7 Sports Network. 24/7 Sports, certainly more known for college stuff. So like I've got an interview lined up tomorrow with somebody from, let's see what the name of the site is. I think it's like Longhorns 247, but I want to make sure I get it exactly right. Horns 24/7, not Longhorns 24/7, Horns 24/7. Awesome site, tons of subscribers, huge traffic. But we're going to talk Matthew Golden and Baron Sorrell with them. Certainly going to try to align somebody up if they'll take my call, me being a North Carolina Tar Heel guy, from Pack Pride to talk Anthony Belton. Certainly going to try and work on somebody too from the TCU site. We will do our best to kind of do what we did last year. I thought Jason Shear from Arizona's site did a great job talking about Jordan Morgan. I thought Matty Hudak did a great job. Talking a little bit about Michael Pratt. I thought that was a really good episode. Obviously, Pratt didn't work out, but that was I thought a really good episode. Really enjoyed talking to the USC guys about Marshawn Lloyd. So we're going to try and kind of go through the college stuff and maybe give you a more personal side than Andy's film deep dive. But with all of that said, we're going to break down the 2 UDFAs that everybody's talking about, including myself, starting today with Nazir Stackhouse, the nose tackle out of Georgia. Pros, and this will feel like any other prospect primer that we did all season, which this year did not go well. Goody zigged a little bit when I was zagging. We obviously had a Matthew Golden episode, and he shared that as soon as Green Bay took him, but we did not do a Belton episode. Certainly did not do a Savion episode. Got very, very close at the end to trying to make time for a Baron Sorrell episode because, as you saw on YouTube, I was all about that life, but did not have the time to produce the Baron Sorrell episode. And so it was really just the golden episode of all those prospect primers. So we're gonna have to try to do better next year. We're gonna have to try and get deeper into what Goody's thinking, because this that's not acceptable the way that turned out. Nazir Stackhouse, pros, ideal A1 size for a 1 tech nose tackle. He is not the he's not the short, squatty, wide, like mini fridge sized zero tech, like a Casey Hampton type, right? That body type. Not even like a BJ Raji. He's 6'4", 330. So he has the length that you kind of want in an even front, as opposed to the like, you're just not moving me with this center, toad-like build that you would want in a 3-4 defense. He's got some versatility too, I think, across the line. I don't think that versatility has anything to do with pass rush, and we'll talk about that in weaknesses, but like, he's not this 6'1", 333 like pot roast dude that you would just set in a 3-4. Again, not too short and squatty like a zero tech nose. Excellent upper body strength with heavy hands. That is very noticeable. Better athlete than a lot of guys at nose tackle. Nose is sometimes where you see these like 2 to 4 RAS guys. Devondre Sout would be a great example. Deion Walker tested terribly. And sometimes it doesn't matter, especially if you just want them to stop the run. That stuff gets to be super overrated as far as testing is concerned. But this is a 6+ RAS guy in a nose tackle body. You just don't see it all the time. Those huge dudes sometimes don't test well and still end up being really good run defenders at the next level. I don't think Slayton was some kind of crazy RAS guy. I'll look that number up on the side here as we're going, and get back to you on that, or I'll mention that once we kind of get through what we're trying to get through here. No, they don't have one. Interesting. I don't think that's right, but I can't find it right now on Math Bomb's deal. But this is not a TJ Slayton pod. This is a Nazir Stackhouse pod, though we will mention Slayton again because I think they're linked, obviously. 5th round grade from me, and his rank on the consensus board was similar to a 5th round pick. So not insane that he didn't get drafted, but surprising, and I think a good value. I think some, not all of the guys that the Packers have taken in UDFA that have made the team were guys where it was like, well, I probably should have been drafted. And that is definitely the case with Nazir Stackhouse. I mean, I would have drafted him in front of Brinson. I have a higher grade on Stackhouse than Brinson, mostly because Brinson, I get why the Packers took Brinson. Brinson, I think, has more upside, certainly more pass rush upside. I think his ceiling's higher. I know what Nazir Stackhouse is right now, and we'll talk about that. Doesn't move when double teamed. The linebackers behind him are clean. He will take on 2 blockers. They will not move. He will not move. And the linebacker behind him will make the play in the run game. That is his superpower. Does an excellent job of actually making tackles in his gap, even when engaged by offensive linemen. Not all nose tackles do that, I promise you. Cons, probably never going to rush the passer. If he gets 1 or 2 cleanup sacks where a quarterback is trying to escape out the front of the pocket, that might be it. Or he just snows under a center. I don't see 3 or 4 sacks a season, certainly not 5 for Nazir Stackhouse. Happy as a clam to be wrong. I don't think I'm going to be. Like, I don't see that from him in his athletic profile. I don't see that from him on film. I don't see a projection, where that would be his future as some sort of pass rush dude. I mean, TJ Slayton had 2 sacks. And then that's where I mean, in 4 years, in 1 rookie contract, TJ Slayton had 4 sacks. I see that for Nazir Stackhouse. Not super great at shedding blocks. He's sort of a stationary object, which is fine for a UDFA nose tackle. Like, he will take on a double team and not move, but he's not going to split that double team. And if you single block him, he's also not going to move, and he's going to probably make the tackle in his gap if a running back runs right to him, but he's not taking that offensive lineman, moving him and going and making the play. He's just sort of stationary, which is fine for a UDFA nose tackle. Not excellent with his footwork all the time, occasional false steps or shuffle steps that aren't necessary. Like, there's a lot of like sauce that just doesn't need to be there. Packers fit 10 out of 10, no notes. I asked late, I think it was 6th round. I tweeted Goot or Brian, please bring me Zeke Biggers or Nazir Stackhouse. Didn't draft Nazir Stackhouse, but acquired Nazir Stackhouse, and that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how. I don't care how these guys get to Green Bay. I care that they're in Green Bay. If Green Bay wasn't going to take one high, they just need one that stops the run and does nothing else, which aren't valuable from a picks perspective. And bang, here he is. These guys, like Nazir Stackhouse, if you don't think they have any pass rush juice, they're not going in the top 150. They just aren't. And if they do, it's not a great pick. Like, what did they just gave this guy a fifth year option? This was my argument. It's not like I gave him a terrible grade. This was my argument against Jordan Davis, the huge monster dude from the Eagles. Jordan Davis has 3.5 sacks. He was picked too high. He's a run stuffing nose tackle. And like, whatever, man. They won a Super Bowl. Howie's great. I get it. That was my argument against Jordan Davis. He could be, and they barely even play him, by the way. He had 27 tackles last year. That's it. 3 tackles for loss. And they picked up his 5th-year option, which is something. But like, he should have gone 2 rounds later, Jordan Davis from Georgia. And that's how you get to Nazir Stackhouse. I'm not saying Nazir Stackhouse is Jordan Davis or as good as Jordan Davis, but like, when you have no pass rush juice, you can still be an NFL player, like, frankly, T'Vondre Sweat, with not getting drafted as high as you thought you were going to get drafted. Like, T'Vondre Sweat has value. T'Vondre Sweat makes the Tennessee Titans better. He will never get a big contract. And he was drafted 2 rounds later than people thought because he is a run stopper only. He will not get to the QB, and neither will Nazir Stackhouse. I think he can immediately step into TJ Slayton's role, sort of. TJ Slayton's role maybe 2 years ago. And I know Halfley was the first year of the defense. So last year, I'll explain that and then we'll kind of wrap this up. Last year, TJ Slayton was the starting nose and Kenny Clark played 3-tech. Kenny Clark was drafted to be a nose, can be a nose, probably is the Packers' nose in 2025. Nazir Stackhouse is not going to be the starter next to Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark is going to move to the nose. They're going to pick up, or did pick up, Devontae Wyatt's 5th-year option. Devontae Wyatt is now your starting 3-tech, and that's great. I love Devontae Wyatt. Had a high grade on him. The production, I think, has been fine from a pass rush win rate perspective, from a pressures perspective. Has to finish better. Has to actually tackle the quarterback and running backs, frankly, down to the ground. But he is built in a lab to play for Jeff Halfley as far as getting up the field. That's Devontae Wyatt. He's your starting 3-tech. Who's the backup nose? Who has to play if Kenny goes down, or who plays 10 snaps at some point in the game so Kenny Clark doesn't have to play those 10 snaps? I think it can be Nazir Stackhouse. Now, will they roster him? Will they activate him on game day? Will they actually allow a UDFA to play that role? I don't know. I would, but nobody cares what I think. Overall, Nazir Stackhouse, 5th-round grade, 220th overall player. I think he should be a tremendous value. Have a great rest of your day. Drink Badger State. Thank you for buying the draft guide, and go Pack Go.